Let's get ready to rumble!
Hey everyone, this is Kang and welcome back to the channel, Coach Kang Stream Coach. And this is actually our first official video besides the little introduction that we did. And for our first video, I want to tackle a topic that a lot of people, new streamers and old streamers alike, seem to have issues with. And that topic is, where should I stream? This is a really big deal, and this could make or break someone's streaming career. And usually it's not that big of a deal when you're first streaming because you can easily go to a different platform. But as you continue your streaming career, you may, fall into some situations where you may have to sign a contract that doesn't allow you to stream on a different platform, things like that. So it's better to get it right the first time around. Now, when a lot of people are making their decision to stream, they sometimes make the choice based on some emotional reasons. Here's where my friends are streaming, so that's where I'm gonna go. Or my favorite streamer streams over here, so that's where I'm gonna go. Or maybe I just like this site, so I'm just gonna stream there. When you're making your choice, I think, in my opinion, you have to be a little bit selfish. You have to be a little bit selfish and sit back and say, what's going to work the best for me? Especially if you're trying to take streaming seriously. It may not be your favorite site. It may not be where your friends are. It may not be, where your favorite streamer are. It may be a place you hadn't really thought about. But when you look at the information, this may work out to help you get to where you want to go. In this video, we're going to be going over the options when it comes to streaming platforms. A few years ago, it was pretty simple. You either streamed on Twitch or you streamed on maybe Hitbox or something. But now we have so many different options. You have Twitch, you have YouTube, you have Mixer, you even have Facebook of all places that you can stream on. But they're all viable. They have their pros and their cons. So I'm going to give you a quick overview of each of these sites, and then we're going to go into the pros and the cons and which, in my opinion, why you should or should not stream on either platform. Just a disclaimer, I started my streaming career on YouTube and now I am on Twitch, if you didn't watch the first video on our channel. But so that's my background. Everything else I'm going to be saying is based on research and also talking to other people regarding what goes on these platforms. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into our first topic, and that is YouTube. Let's go. All right, so here we have YouTube gaming. So YouTube gaming is a little bit weird. YouTube gaming started a couple of years ago, and it was YouTube's kind of answer to Twitch. But now they have seemingly gone away with YouTube gaming. So this YouTube gaming interface you see in front of us is going to be going away pretty soon. But because it's here, I'm going to give you a quick brief overview of it just so you know what it is. But I'm going to be showing you what YouTube's doing new when it comes to their gaming live streaming platform. So let's go to a quick stream and see what's going on. So here we have a stream. This is what you would typically see on YouTube gaming. You notice there's a dark background going on, which is very pleasant to the eyes. You see the chat over to the right. It's nice and big. You have the video in the middle, which is again pretty big as well. If you go down here, you can chat. In the bottom right down here, there's emotes. So YouTube does have their own emotes, which you can which the streamers can set up themselves. But you can also have options here. You can join as a member. So that's kind of like subbing on Twitch, and we'll talk more about that in a bit. You can also send a super chat. So a super chat is pretty much like bits on Twitch as well, but in a different way. The super chat, it will go into the chat room and it will pop up here near the top, and it will stay at the top depending on how much you actually give to the super chat. So if you give $100, it will be up there for a pretty long time. If you give $1, it probably won't go up there at all. But if you give like $5, it'll go up there for like a couple of minutes and then disappear, so everyone can see it. But pretty simple. You can subscribe to the channel. You can join as a member here. Again, you see different videos from them down here as well. So if you want to see what else they're doing, all that is down there. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. And all right, I went to a different stream really quickly just so you can see what I'm talking about. So this is where your super chat would pop up, and if you look, you can see the message that the person left. So pretty easy, pretty basic. Again, you can subscribe down here. But let's get into what's going to be replacing YouTube gaming, and that is YouTube gaming, pretty much. So this is YouTube's new home when it comes to their gaming streaming. This is simply youtube.com/gaming. So this is going to be more relevant than the gaming.youtube.com that I just showed you. This is probably what's going to replace YouTube gaming in general. It's so confusing saying that because they're both technically the same thing. But anyway, this is on YouTube's site. The other site is completely separate, which is weird. But this is what's going to be replacing it. So this is the home page, youtube.com/gaming. You see the top live games, which is you know, pretty basic. Of course, Fortnite is the top game at the moment, followed by PUBG, you know, Minecraft, etc. You can see the top streamers and how many people are on. Actually, this is from your subscription, so people you are subscribed to, you can see if they're streaming and how many people they have watching them. And then if you go to here we go, top live streams, you can see overall how many people are watching the top live streams in your region. You can set it to your region, you can set it to worldwide, and get a different kind of picture going on there. But it's pretty easy. If we go to the stream I just showed you before, let's mute that. Pretty simple here. Again, you have your chat on the right, you have a big picture in the middle here, pretty good quality. It pretty much looks like a standard YouTube page, thumbs up, thumbs down, number of viewers, same options you have here. So send a super chat. He doesn't have memberships for whatever reason, not sure why. You have your emotes as well, so etc, etc. But that's pretty much it. That's pretty much the basis, the overview of what's going on. We're gonna get into some more actual topics right now. So I bet you didn't think you'd be seeing a PowerPoint today, did you? I have this nice little presentation set up to go over the pros and the cons, and then we're gonna go into the actual nitty-gritty when it comes to the specifications of what I'm talking about. So first things first, talking about YouTube, the pros and cons. The first pro, of course, is that it's YouTube. I mean, YouTube is the biggest video sharing website in the world, so there's a lot of name recognition. Everyone knows what YouTube is. You have little kids like 3 years old already watching YouTube, all the way up to elderly people, you know, 60, 70, 80. Everyone seems to know what YouTube is. If you have the internet, you probably know what YouTube is. So there's a lot of people potentially that you can have an audience to by live streaming on YouTube. Another thing is one place for everything. So one of the biggest things that I thought about when I first started on YouTube is that I could have my videos that I produce on my page, then I can also live stream directly to that same page. I don't have to split anything up. So if a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll have their videos on YouTube, but they'll stream on Twitch, and that's potentially separating your audience. Having everything in one place can be a pro if you're looking to keep your same audience. So that's one thing to think about. Another big pro is the algorithm. So now a lot of people don't really talk about this, but if you are a content creator on YouTube, you have probably heard about this in some way, shape, or form. The algorithm. Now, when we're talking about this, no one really knows how the algorithm works. It's kind of like black magic, so to speak. You'll see a lot of videos of people claiming to understand how it works or claiming that they can manipulate it in certain ways, but when it comes down to it, no one really knows how it works. But in a nutshell, and again, this is not saying how it works, but pretty much YouTube is one big search engine, and it goes off of what's trending and what people are looking for. YouTube has an algorithm that they supposedly has put a bunch of work into that can understand all that. And if you are doing the right things at the right time, the algorithm can pick it up, and then you can be shot into internet YouTube stardom. Now, if you're doing the wrong things at the wrong time, then the algorithm may never even pick you up or show you any kind of love. That's kind of what happened to me, like I mentioned, when I started streaming Dead by Daylight. Dead by Daylight was popular, it was trending, so the algorithm caught that I was streaming this game a lot, and it started featuring my channel to tons of different people. So that is a pro. That is a pro. That if you do the right things at the right time, then you could just literally just shoot up instantly. Finally, I went back. There's less saturation. So now YouTube gaming, or YouTube, anyway, YouTube gaming has been around for about, I would say, what, 2 years? Over 2 years now. Way less time than, to say, Twix. Twix? Why do I keep saying Twix? way less time than Twitch. So what that means is that there's less competition when it comes to, you know, the super huge streamers. That means that you can still come into YouTube as a streamer and make a name for yourself. There's not like 30,000 people that are all over 1 million followers and streaming every single day. You can come in there and say, you know what, I'm gonna do something different and hopefully make a name. There's less saturation. There are still a lot of people, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people streaming on YouTube, a lot of people, but it's less than Twitch. So you have that going for you. All right, let's talk about the cons for a second. Let's talk about the cons. One of the cons is the algorithm. So like I mentioned, the algorithm is some kind of mystical beast that really no one has conquered quite yet. You get lucky sometimes and sometimes you don't. But this can be a detriment, especially if you're looking to diversify your content. So let's say me, for example, I was doing a bunch of Dead by Daylight content. The algorithm was picking up on it, sending viewers my way, getting me featured. That was a pro. But if I want to switch to a different game, you know, something else, because I just didn't feel like playing that game anymore, the algorithm would say, no, we're not going to feature your channel anymore. You know, you should only do DBD and then we'll feature you again. That's pretty much what the algorithm is saying internally, not so much to you. But as you continue to do that, you'll kind of figure out that, hey, maybe I should only stick to this game because this game gets me featured. These other games, I pretty much am invisible. So it can be a detriment. And if you're looking to kind of grow and do other things besides one niche topic, then you may be in trouble. The algorithm may punish you pretty hard. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. It's a pro plus a pretty big con. And honestly, that's one of the reasons why I stopped doing YouTube, because I got tired of that situation. I got tired of just trying to do what the algorithm wanted me to do instead of doing what I wanted to do. Feature. So now, when YouTube gaming was first launched, it was very lacking in features. It's gotten a lot better, but it's still not on par to where Twitch is right now. But it's gotten a lot better, but it's still not there. That's why I put it as a con. But when I say this, YouTube does have emotes now, or custom emojis as they call them, which does have sub badges. And I believe they're working on making actually no, this is already out. The sub badges are tenured, so you know, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. They do change based on how long you've been a member. It's not a sub badge, it's a member badge. They change based on how long you've been a member of that channel. They do have the super chat as well. So there are different features there, but if we're gonna compare them, then it's not as feature rich as say Twitch is, but they are there. Not great encoding. So one thing that you may not care about, but I care about because I'm pretty much a perfectionist, is that YouTube doesn't have the best encoding. So what I mean by that is, if you take a 1080p stream on YouTube and compare that with a 1080p stream on Twitch, you will notice that the one on Twitch looks a lot better. And keep this in mind, if we're going to get technical, and you may not understand this right now, but we're going to be talking about bitrate. The YouTube stream may even have a higher bitrate, but still look worse than the Twitch stream with a lower bitrate. So pretty much bottom line is Twitch has much better encoders that can make your stream look better with less resources. So that's what I'm talking about. Now that's not the biggest of things, but for me, when I first noticed that, I was like, wow, this is like my stream can look super crispy on Twitch using 6,000 bitrate, whereas on YouTube I was using 9,000 bitrate, and still it looked decent, but it didn't look as good as the Twitch one. So that's something if you care about that. And finally, confusing monetization. So let's go over this in greater detail. Here is the channel that I just created and what the monetization looks like on the channel. So this is the ability to show ads on your channel. So the requirements are simple. You have to accept the program terms, easy. You have to set up an AdSense account, which is pretty easy. You have to set up your preferences, which is pretty simple. This is where we're getting into trouble down here on YouTube. So now there are requirements. The first requirement is having 1,000 subscribers, which is, you know, attainable if you continue to do your things and, you know, build up an audience. You can get to 1,000 subs on YouTube, you know, over time. Bearing in mind, this is the channel I just created a couple days ago. Watch hours, you need 4,000 watch hours in the last 12 months as well. And again, if you continue creating your videos and, you know, are consistent, you can attain that. But what's happening is people aren't meeting these requirements, and then they're being stuck in limbo. They've been stuck in limbo for months without anyone reviewing their application to receive monetization. This is a big detriment. And, you know, monetization isn't the biggest thing, but if you're going to be focusing so much time into something, you want to at least know that you'll get a few pennies out of it for all the time you're putting into something. So the fact that a lot of creators are being stuck in limbo for months without anyone looking at their application, you know, 3 months up to 6 months, then that's a pretty big thing. And ads can, depending on how many viewers you're getting, can be a pretty good chunk of income for you. And also, again, these 1,000 viewers and 1,000 subscribers and also 4,000 watch hours, you might struggle with that, especially if you're completely new to streaming. You don't have any kind of audience. You may struggle with that. You know, somebody like myself, I have an audience, so I can, you know, pull viewers and subscribers from my stream, from my other channel. I should be able to hit this, you know, relatively quickly as long as I keep putting out content. But for somebody else, it may be a long upward battle to do this. So keep that in mind. But this will allow you to show ads. There's something else you have to do in order to get what I showed you before, which is the super chat and also the membership. So we'll talk about that right now. So here's where things get a little confusing. So to be eligible to receive memberships on YouTube Gaming, remember the site that I showed you in the beginning, you need to only have 1,000 subscribers, be in good standing, be a gaming channel. Cool. So that's pretty much ties into monetization, which is good. But if you're talking about the main YouTube website, that's where it gets a little trickier, and I'll show you. To be eligible for YouTube membership on the main YouTube site, which is what everyone's going to be transitioning to, and pretty much, to be honest, that's where everyone already is on. Most people use the YouTube site to watch streams. Not many people even use YouTube Gaming. But to be eligible for this, you have to have over 50,000 subscribers. So in order for you to get the little button where people can subscribe monthly to your channel for $4.99 or $5.99, you have to have over 50,000 subscribers. That's a pretty big leap. That's a pretty big leap, and not a lot of channels will get to that. Honestly, not a lot of channels will get to that, whether it be in a good time frame or ever. Not a lot of channels will get to that, but that is the requirement that they have at the moment. We'll see if they make adjustments to that, but that's currently what you need. You also have to have 0 live strikes, which is sometimes channels can get strikes mistakenly because they just didn't know they made a mistake. They streamed the wrong game. Maybe there was some music and they got a strike. I'm talking about something different than a claim. Claims are okay, but strikes can sometimes happen randomly and you weren't even aware that you were going to be receiving a strike because you weren't trying to, you weren't streaming, Beyonce's new music video or something. You were just playing a game maybe and they gave you a strike. It can happen. It's happened to other people. But anyway, so those are the requirements for YouTube. 50,000 subscribers. Good luck. Good luck. So here's Twitch. If you've ever, if you've been on the internet, if you know anything about, video game streaming, you've probably been on this site, Twitch. They've made a revamp to their homepage recently. So this is the new homepage. It shows you some featured streamers at the top here. You can scroll through it, and they also are starting to recommend different channels to you based on what your preferences might be. So we have live channels you may like, beauty and body art streamers you may like. I'm not sure why they're showing me that. Probably because I watched Soda Poppin recently paint his entire body green so that he could use himself as a green screen. That's probably why they're showing me that. Guys, I don't watch body art streams. Not anything against them, but I don't normally do that. Marbles on stream, so games you've been watching lately, they recommend other people that may have been streaming. So it's pretty simple. Let's go to a stream really quick and I'll show you what that looks like. We're gonna go to my buddy. Her name is Arius, so she's a longtime viewer of my channel, and I'm gonna use her. She doesn't know this, but hopefully she doesn't mind. But anyway, so it's pretty simple. You have the video up front and center, pretty big. You have other channels that are live over on the left. You have down the bottom here, we have your panels, so you can customize these panels to your liking. You can add pictures and different links. Most people use this for like donation links and things of that nature. Pretty cut and dry. You have your chat over to the right, nice and big, pretty simple. At the top here, you have videos, clips, collections, events. And at the chat box down here, this is where you can type, but you can also give bits. You can subscribe at the top here as well. She has a sub button because she is an affiliate, and I'll talk more about that as well. So you can subscribe up here, easy peasy. Subscribe is pretty much, you pay $4.99 a month, or if you have Twitch Prime, I'll talk about that later as well. Twitch Prime, you can subscribe for free, and the creator still gets the full credit for doing so. So that's pretty much Twitch in a nutshell from the viewer standpoint. Let's get into some more specifics now. So the first pro of Twitch is the feature. So again, I mentioned Twitch has been around for a very long time. They're very feature rich because, you know, they've been around the block. They've seen what works. They've seen what doesn't work. They also are seeing what other people do. So they have tons of different features. Of course, you have the standard features. You have the standard features of which a lot of sites also are supporting, which are the subscription model, but also the ability to tip within the site as well, using their system without PayPal. But you also have different things like you can set up your page to promote a game, and if people buy that game, you'll receive a percentage of that. They also have something new called a bounty board, which you can directly receive bounties from developers to play their game on stream for just an hour and get paid through your normal payment process that Twitch has. They also have Twitch Prime, which is a super huge thing, which is if you are a member of Amazon Prime, you have Twitch Prime as well. You can use Twitch Prime to sub to a channel for free each month, one channel. So that's a pretty big thing and a way to, an added benefit for being inside that ecosystem, which is the Amazon ecosystem. So there's other things as well, but Twitch again is very feature rich because they've been doing this for a while, and they know exactly what they're doing. Like I mentioned before, the encoding is also a lot better. There's they recently introduced ultra low latency, so you can have a 2-second delay on your stream, very similar to what I'm going to be talking about next, Mixer. So they pretty much are good with the features. Another pro is they're dedicated to streaming. So Twitch, for the most part, is dedicated to what they are good at, which is streaming. YouTube, you can stream on YouTube, but if we're gonna be honest, YouTube is mostly dedicated to video content, but they're trying to do streaming on the side, and it works. But if you're looking at a place that understands streaming, they're dedicated to it, that's what they do, that's where they make their money from, so it's in their best interest to do it as best as possible, then that's Twitch. They're dedicated to streaming, and that's where they're putting most of their efforts into, or all of their efforts into. They are working on a couple of side projects to try to build up people's confidence to upload videos to their site, but for the most part is based on streaming. So there you go. No algorithm. Like I mentioned, a con of YouTube is that the algorithm can work against you. You're doing one thing, you try to do something else, and then the algorithm just buries your channel, doesn't feature it to people, doesn't even send out notifications to people, because the algorithm figures that, hey, people don't want to watch this. They only want to watch you do a certain thing. So your channel pretty much gets buried. And a lot of content creators have been complaining about this over the years, that YouTube is just doing all kind of things and not showing their notifications. The point is, there's none of that on Twitch. If somebody subscribes to if somebody follows your channel, then they put on their notifications. Whenever you go live, they're going to see it. They do have a system where they feature different partners, and we'll talk about that more. But besides that, there's no search algorithms and other things at play besides what I just showed you on the main page, and that's kind of minor. That's on the main page, and if I'm being completely honest with you guys, not a lot of people even really are on the main page that often looking at new people. They usually go to the browse section so that they can just find the streams that way. I didn't show you the browse section, but it's pretty similar to what I showed you on YouTube. It pretty much shows you the top streams, the top games that are being streamed. You click on the game and it shows you the top streamer streaming that game. That's where a lot of people will look. But with the new main page, they are getting into a little bit of showing, you know, other streamers, like recommended based on whatever their criteria is, but it's not overboard. It's not the entire system is based off of that. A really huge perk about Twitch right now is their simple path to monetization. So they have a very simple step-by-step guide to, okay, if you do these certain things and you apply, then you may actually get monetized. And when I say monetize, I mean the ability to take subscriptions, the ability to take bits, that's what I'm referring to. The ability to show ads and receive some of that ad revenue. Those are the ways that you can receive income from Twitch. They have a very simple path to both of those. The first step is affiliate, which is actually, if we're being honest, very simple to achieve. And then the next step is partner, which is a lot more difficult to achieve, but still attainable if you're growing your channel. Let me show you both of these and what the requirements are. Here we are on Twitch's achievements page, and you can get this by going to your dashboard and over here on the left, achievements. I don't think it's a big deal if I show you this. It's pretty standard information, not a big deal. But so the first step, like I mentioned, is path to affiliate. Here we go. So the first thing you need to do is have 50 followers, okay? Stream for 8 hours, stream on 7 different days, and also average 3 viewers. So as you can see, those requirements are pretty low. If you're streaming, if you're doing something with good quality, you more than likely will attain these requirements pretty quickly, and now you have the ability to monetize your channel. Previously, like I mentioned on YouTube, you have to have 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 watch time hours. It can take you some time to get there. With this, it's very simple. 50 followers, stream for 8 hours, stream on 7 different days, 3 viewers. Pretty cut and dry, simple, and you can start taking on subs and getting bits. So now if you want to move up to the next level and become a partner, this is where it's going to take a little bit longer, but still pretty easily attainable if you put in the effort. So partner, you have to stream for 25 hours, stream on 12 different days, and have an average of 75 viewers. So now once you meet those requirements, you simply apply, and they'll take a look at your channel, and then they'll give you an answer within a few days, pretty much, maybe a week or two. I'm not really sure, but they'll reply to you pretty quickly. But again, 25 hours, stream on 12 different days, average of 75 viewers. It's very simple. It's very straightforward what you need to do, and then you just apply, and then you have access to those features. So very simple path, very simple path. All right, so now let's talk about the cons of Twitch. So now the biggest con of Twitch is the saturation. Now, like I mentioned before, Twitch has been around for a very long time, and because of that, there's tons of streamers on the platform, and there are some streamers who have been around since the beginning, and they've built up a very huge, massive audience where it's kind of like a black hole that sucks in all the viewers whenever they seem to stream. So it can be very daunting. It can be very intimidating to be a new streamer coming on a platform where there's tons of people already there. But if you are doing the right things, you can still try to make a name for yourself. But just keep that in mind. That's going to be a very huge hurdle for you to get over. That is the fact that there's thousands upon thousands upon thousands of other people that probably are doing the very same thing that you're doing. So in our next videos, we're going to be talking about ways to kind of stand out from the crowd and ways to build up your followers. But that's probably the biggest thing, that when people are looking for a place to start streaming, they look at Twitch and they look at, wow, there's like there's so many other people doing this, and I'll probably be lost in the shuffle. Keep that in mind. The culture. So now, a big con of Twitch is, well, can be the culture. Depending on what crowd you get involved in, what kind of streams you watch, you may never notice this, but Twitch is not a place that's known for the most inclusive, welcoming culture. There's a lot of trolls, a lot of channels that kind of harbor trolls, that allow trolls to kind of run free and do their thing. That's kind of another way that people even get known on Twitch, is how toxic their chats are, and how far they push the envelope when it comes to just tiptoeing on the terms of service, you know. So the culture needs work, and Twitch has noticed this, and they've been trying to make steps to improve the culture, be more inclusive. They hired someone, I believe, like the I don't know their official title, but something dealing with inclusion. So they've noticed this, and they've tried to, you know, to kind of build up their terms of service to quell it a little bit, but it's still a big problem. If you go to some of the bigger streams, especially the ones that are not as moderated, you can definitely see that there's a lot of, you know, subtle racism, subtle sexism, you know, very offensive memes, very offensive things going on. And for somebody that's, you know, maybe a woman or a person of color, it may not be the best welcoming place to you. But you can set your own path, you can do your own thing, and you can build up your own audience and kind of stay away from all that if that's something that's not for you. Again, I stream on Twitch, and I kind of stay away from all that kind of stuff. I see it, of course I see it. If your eyes are open, you're not blind, you will see it, but I stay away from it, and we're doing pretty decent. So keep that in mind. The culture can be a little harsh. If you've made it this far in the video, give yourself a pat on the back. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Next, we're going to be talking about Mixer. So now Mixer is one of the new kids on the block. Mixer was previously known as Beam. This is a project by Microsoft, and they switched over to Mixer because people were getting confused about the name Beam, I guess. But now it's Mixer, and we're going to go over the pros and the cons again and give you a quick overview of the site. So here we go. So this is Mixer's website. It's set up in a way that's very similar to Twitch. You have your carousel at the top here. You can scroll through some of the featured streams. You have the top games here at the bottom that you can scroll through. You have your followers. And then you have some things that are only on Mixer. So Mixer does have some exclusive things that we'll talk about as far as content is concerned. There's a cool little section here of up and coming streamers. So they actually highlight some streamers that, you know, based on whatever criteria they've put forth, are up and coming streamers. So you can check them out. And then we have your top streamers here at the bottom. Let's click into one of these streams and see what exactly is going on. Let's click here. Let's mute that. How do you mute? Okay, so we have a streamer here. There's a lot of different things that go on. There's a lot of different things that go on Mixer. One thing that Mixer is known for is their interaction. So streamers can kind of plug into an API, and with that API, they can allow viewers to do certain things on their stream based on using, I forget the name of it, but using Mixer's currency. You get the currency by just watching streams, any stream, and then you use it when you click these buttons down here. Actually, where are the buttons? These buttons somewhere. The buttons are somewhere. You click the buttons and then different things happen right here. Whatever these are called, I don't know. I have a bunch of them, but I don't know what they're called. I forget. The point is, Mixer is based on interaction. You can click a button and have a sound effect go off on the stream. You can click a button and then the scene changes. You know, there's different things. They even have certain sections where you can even play a game on Mixer just by being just by watching. You can actually play a game using your keyboard, mouse, whatever the case may be. So that's Mixer's big thing. Standard over on the right, we have chat. You can talk. You can subscribe here. There's a sub button. Once you qualify for that, it's $6 a month. You can follow, of course. And I believe there is a way. No, that's it. That's it. Yeah. And you have your info panels down here. You can customize these, which is a pretty big thing, similar to Twitch, but I feel is a little bit more fleshed out. Your past streams, there's clips even, so there's a lot of information here that you can get on this person's stream. And again, they even have at the top here a way for you to support the streamer by buying this game, and again, some of that goes towards the streamer. So they've set it up in a pretty cool way. And again, you have these buttons down here where you can do some things. So pretty standard. Let's get into the pros and the cons. The first pro of Mixer is that it's new. So if you're looking for a place that's new, like I mentioned, you know, Twitch has been around for a long time. YouTube in itself has been around for a long time, but their streaming hasn't. But Mixer is one of the newest additions to the mainstream streaming platform. So it's relatively new. So if you're a new streamer, it may be a good place for you to look, especially if you're trying to build yourself up. You know, there's not a lot of super huge streamers on the platform already. So you can come in there, especially if you're unique, if you're doing some cool things, you can come in there and kind of just tear the doors down and make a name for yourself. So it's new. There's less saturation, kinda. So like I mentioned, there's not as many streamers on Mixer as compared to YouTube and Twitch. There's less saturation in that regards, but based on some studying and some research that I've done, I believe Streamlabs put out a report. There's more streamers on Mixer, but less viewers. What that means is the ratio. The ratio is what I'm talking about. The ratio of streamers to viewers is low when compared to Twitch and YouTube. So while there's less streamers overall, there's also less viewers than any of the other platforms. So take for that what you want. You do have a good chance of getting yourself out there because there's not a lot of streamers, but there's not a lot of viewers as well. Take that into consideration. It's also dedicated to streaming, so Mixer isn't really doing anything else besides, you know, working on their streaming and working on their interactive platform when it comes to streaming. So if you're looking for a place that's not working on other things, then Mixer is where you may want to go. There's also the Hype Zone. I didn't really show you this, but there is a feature called the Hype Zone, and what it does, it rotates different streamers based on certain games. So like, let's say you're playing PUBG and you get into a top 10 situation. Now you may be featured in the Hype Zone, so that a bunch of new viewers will come to your channel because you're in this top 10 situation, and that's a lot of new faces. And if you do good, if you take advantage of being in the Hype Zone, you know, you win the game, or you just have an awesome personality, and then you could potentially get some new dedicated people. So that's something that they do. It works with Fortnite as well, and probably some other games, but I know for sure PUBG and Fortnite. So if those are two games you play, then go for it. Finally, we also have low requirements for partners. So the requirements for a partner on Mixer has changed since it was first, you know, enacted. When it was first enacted, they were very low. They were super low. But now they've kind of boosted a little bit as more streamers have gotten on the platform. So let's actually go over the requirements for partner currently. This is from the official Mixer site. Here are the requirements. Pretty much account age has to be 2 months. So you have to be at least have an account that's over 2 months. And that doesn't specify streaming for 2 months. It's just you need to have an account that is over 2 months old. You have to have at least 2,000 followers. You have to be streaming for 12 days or more per month. You have to stream at least 25 hours. So again, relatively low requirements to go for partnership. Probably the biggest thing that you may hold you back is the amount of followers you need, which is 2,000. But again, if you're continuing to do your thing and you know, grow your channel, then you should get 2,000 followers, you know, within a reasonable amount of time if you're really serious about it. There is a quality review. They will take a look at your channel again, similar to Twitch, and they'll make a decision based on what they see. You know, if you got those 2,000 followers by being a troll and harassing other people, then you probably won't make it, because they're going to be looking at that. They say they focus on professionalism, uniqueness, and community building. So no trolls need not apply, pretty much. And that's one other thing. I didn't really put this in here. Mixer's community, from what I've heard, again, I'm not on Mixer, but their community is top notch. The streamers that are, you know, featured and partnered, they're all like really awesome people. You know, they're friendly, you know, as opposed to on Twitch, you can see, you know, partners getting banned for being offensive and doing different things. And it's just a different game when it comes to what they're allowing on the platform. Mixer seems to be very, very strict, and probably because they're owned by Microsoft. So Microsoft is being very strict on what they think should be on their platform. So one thing to keep in mind. I said that was the last pro, but I lied. So one thing on Mixer is FTL, faster than light. So this is their encoder that allows for nearly instant transmission. If someone types in the chat room, you will pretty much see it instantly. Well, of course you always see it instantly, but your response will pretty much be instant to the viewer. So if someone says hi, you can read it and say hi back in less than a second or 1 second. Twitch has included low latency mode recently, which is about 2 to 5 seconds of latency, but Mixer is still the king of pretty much instant. I'm not sure how they do it. It's like magic, but they do it. It's limited though. I believe it only works on their website, and you have to be using Chrome, which is, I mean, most people use Chrome anyway, but there are limits. But that's one thing that they still have going for them. YouTube does have an ultra low latency mode, but again, it's not as good as Mixer's FTL mode. So if you're looking for like nearly instant interaction with your audience, then Mixer will be the place to go. Cons. Let's hop into the cons now. It's not all good. So the biggest con is not as popular as others. Like I mentioned, there's not that many viewers on Mixer. There are viewers, but not as many. The top streamers you may see have like 1,000 viewers, maybe, you know, a couple of hundred for the next people going down. So there's not a lot of people watching streams on Mixer. There's not much else to say about it. That's just what it is. There's not a lot of people watching streams on Mixer. But that's not to say that there won't be in the future if they continue to grow, if they continue to promote and, you know, build up their platform, that it may get more popular. But with the way it currently stands, it's not a lot. And honestly, guys, that's pretty much it when it comes to cons. You know, Mixer is doing a lot of cool things with their site, but the fact still remains is that there's just not a lot of people there to actually, you know, watch your streams. So if you're looking to grow, if you're looking to build up your audience, then you may be out of luck, because there's a very limited amount of people, and those people that are there probably, or maybe even have already found, you know, who they want to watch, and you may be looking for viewers that aren't there. So that's pretty much the biggest con. But Mixer, I would say Mixer is a pretty good place to go if you're new. But we'll get into my overall thoughts at the end of the video. And finally, we have the newest kid on the block, the weird kid, Facebook Live. So Facebook, for whatever reason, decided that they wanted to get into live gaming content. They probably saw that it was pretty lucrative based on, you know, Twitch and YouTube, so they decided to throw their hat in the game as well. Facebook Live is very interesting, but again, it has its pros and its cons as well. Let me give you a brief overview of the site, and then we'll go from there. All right, so here it is. This is Facebook Live, or Facebook Gaming, whatever you want to call it. This is Facebook Gaming section of their site. So it's pretty simple. You have a featured streamer up top here. I believe this is probably the viewer with the most viewers at the moment. You have live now, so other streamers, you know, doing their thing. Yeah, you can search by game. It's pretty simple. Suggested streamers down here at the bottom as well. Recently live. So there's different things you can do on the home page, but mostly they're just showing you streamers based on, you know, if they're live or what games are popular, things of that nature. So let's hop into a stream and see what's actually going on here. Let's go here, I guess. Let's just go here. All right, so I clicked in the video and I don't know what's going on. So here's a guy, he's playing Fortnite, pretty standard. You have your comments over on the right, and this is like a page. So you have your video is playing here. At the bottom here, you have you know, different things. Yeah, he's set up his recent videos. You can see posts, videos, comments on him going live, I guess. So it's pretty much a page, and you can post your comments here over on the right. What Facebook has is a system called stars, which are very similar to bits. You can buy stars from Facebook and give those stars to streamer. A star is equal to 1 cent, same as bits on Twitch. I didn't even mention that before, but yeah, you have bits on Twitch and they're 1 cent per bit. You have that on Facebook. You can follow the page. I'm not sure if there's a way to subscribe here or not, but that's their main monetization, are those stars, and also ads. You can apply to have ads shown on your channel. Now let's go to another page because I'm kind of confused here. Let's go to another page. So if I go back to the main page and I click on Stone Mountain, for example, you see it opens up kind of differently now. So now you have okay, his stream is dead center, but in the top right we have some information here. Then the chat's a little bit different as well. I don't know why there's a difference, and if that's something you can set, or if it's set for you, or what kind of defines the difference in what we're seeing here based on, you know, the two different streams. I don't know because I'm not on Facebook. But again, so you see the video, you see you can chat over here. You have your stickers, you have your stars that you can send. Like I mentioned, the stars, I have 0, of course, but if I had some stars, I could send them, etc. That's pretty much how it works. Now let's get into the pros and the cons, and also some finer details about using Facebook Live. Let's get into it. The pros again on Facebook are that it is new. It is a new service, again, pretty much like Mixer, but new. So there's not a huge oversaturation of you know, streamers that have been doing it for a very long time. So you could come in as a new person, and again, if you're doing something unique and fun, you can potentially make a name for yourself. Not saying you can't do that on Twitch or YouTube, but it might be just a little bit harder to do. So it's new. Less saturation, again, there's less streamers. And YouTube is kind of interesting, and I'll talk about this in my next point, but there's less saturation, less streamers. And here is why it's interesting. A lot of streamers on Facebook focus on mobile gaming. For whatever reason, a lot of streamers, I should say, stream mobile games. So they're streaming not regular PUBG, they're streaming mobile PUBG, they're streaming mobile Fortnite, and they're streaming any other mobile game that has some kind of audience. I think this is because a lot of people, maybe they're like kids, or maybe they're older people who don't really have consoles or a PC, so they play games on their phone. I'm thinking about the people that still use Facebook. So it may be a lot of these kind of people, and there's not a lot of other places where these mobile games get a lot of love. You know, a lot of people, they don't stream mobile games on Twitch a lot, they don't stream mobile games on YouTube a lot, Mixer. So Facebook, a lot of these streamers have seemed to say, well, let's see if we can make mobile gaming a thing, and they are. So a lot of the top streams, they happen to sometimes be somebody playing PUBG mobile, or Fortnite mobile, or War of Tanks mobile, or whatever other mobile games there are that are popular. That happens to be. So if that's something you want to get into, then this could potentially be something for you, mobile gaming. Now the cons are that it's Facebook. That's probably the biggest con, is that it's Facebook. And if you've been keeping up with the news and what's going on, Facebook has been going through a lot of different struggles when it comes to data being breached and privacy concerns and all kind of stuff. It's Facebook. Facebook, the same site your aunts probably go on every day. It's just Facebook. I don't even use Facebook anymore because is Facebook. The cons are the monetization. There's not a lot of options there. The only options they have right now are the ads and the stars. And let me show you really quickly the process to get monetization on Facebook. All right, so here we are. I'm on my gaming dashboard for Facebook, and over on the left here, you can see the requirements to enter into their Level Up program, which will allow you to monetize your channel. So the basics are you need to stream video game content for at least 4 hours in the last 14 days. You need to stream video game content on at least 2 days in the last 14 days. Have at least 100 page followers. Stream from an eligible country and meet the community standards and monetization eligibility standards, whatever those may be. I can actually show you those in a moment, but pretty simple requirements. But again, this only allows you to show ads and use the star system like I mentioned. Let's look at these. Let's look at the monetization eligibility standards. So this seems to be pretty basic stuff. You know, comply with payment terms, page terms, adhere to content guidelines, share authentic content, so don't steal other people's content. Pretty simple stuff. It's pretty broad, as a matter of fact, and they probably do that on purpose. But those are the monetization options, and that's what you get. That's what you get. So going back and talking about the cons again, so monetization isn't quite on par with the other platforms such as Twitch, YouTube, Mixer. There's no subscription system. It's only ads and stars based. But you know, hopefully maybe in the future they'll add a different option there as far as if somebody wants to subscribe to your channel on a monthly basis. And finally, it's confusing. But like I just showed you before, we looked at 2 different people streaming live and their pages looked different. Why did the pages look different? Well, actually this isn't finally, but the pages look different. There's things all over the place, you know, because again, you're on Facebook, so you have all the Facebook things there. So you're pretty much in a different, you're in the Facebook environment watching a stream. So anything else that deals with Facebook will also be there all over the place. The pages, the notifications, your mom commenting on your cat picture, all that stuff will be there, which can be good if somebody wants to have their social media world intertwined with their streaming world. But for me, it's a little bit confusing, especially again, what was the difference between the one page and the other one? And then the biggest con, which keeps a lot of people off of it, is the real names. So if you noticed or not, I didn't really highlight it because I didn't want to point out anybody's name, but there's real names. If you're commenting on someone's stream, you're going to be using your real name unless you set up a page, in which a lot of people aren't setting up pages on Facebook unless they have a business or a reason to do so. You're going to be using your real name. And as a matter of fact, I didn't even see a way for me to switch to my page so that I could comment with my page instead of my real name. For people that are like their privacy, that's going to be a really big con. That could be a good thing though, because again, a lot of people are very trolly when it comes to their online presence because they can hide behind being anonymous. But if you're using your real name, there's a real person out there, there's a real picture, there's real consequences to the things you say. So that could keep some trolls out, but again, that could also keep other people who want to keep their privacy away as well. If they're watching your stream, they may not interact with you as much if they have to use their real name. So all right, so that was a lot of information to go through, and if you got through all of it, I really appreciate you watching the full video, because you know, again, this isn't something that a decision you should make on a whim. You should have some research and some thought put behind it, and come up with your own decision when it comes to where you're going to stream, or if you're thinking about moving to a different platform, what it all entails. So my thoughts and my opinions, my verdict. If you are a new streamer looking to get into streaming, I would say that YouTube and possibly Mixer are 2 good places to start. One, because again, YouTube has less saturation. There's also the algorithm that can benefit you if you're doing something unique. If you're following, trends, you could potentially make a name for yourself on YouTube with streaming. Their streaming isn't as saturated as their video platform, so you still can, you know, build up a presence, especially again if you're doing something different. Mixer again is the same way. It's relatively new. There's not a lot of streamers on the platform, so you can come in there with some creativity, with some personality, and potentially make a name for yourself. Twitch, it is possible, but because Twitch is so old, there's so many streamers on the platform. If you're a new streamer, you may be sitting at the bottom of the browse page for a long time with 0 viewers, and that's where a lot of people are. That's where a lot of people are because they decide they want to stream on Twitch first because that's what they know, that's where their friends are, that's who their favorite streamer that they watch is on. They go on Twitch and then they get disappointed because they can't build up a viewership. They can't build up their viewers. There's a lot of other things that go into, especially if you're on Twitch, how you can build up your followers and your viewership base. And we'll talk about that in some other videos in the future. But just off the blanket, just going straight there, you may be a little bit disappointed to discover some things. And me, in my personal opinion, I would stay away from Facebook, but that's just me. If you are into mobile gaming, then possibly Facebook is something that you may get involved in. And again, like I mentioned, because Facebook is relatively new, you can potentially make a name for yourself on Facebook if you're doing the right things. If you go on there, you're playing mobile games, or you just have a really good personality and you're able to build up your followers in that way. So again, new streamer, old streamer, there's pros and cons when it comes to monetization and also features and different things and how they monetize and how they monetize. So keep all that in mind. Go back through the video and watch again if you want, but I've given my 2 cents, my words. Again, I'm on Twitch currently, but I started on YouTube and I built it up on YouTube, and then I moved over to Twitch. And a lot of my people that followed me on YouTube, they came over on Twitch, and I'm able to keep building in that way. But not everyone is going to go straight to Twitch. Keep that in mind. But thank you guys for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. Make sure you smack that follow button, or is it a follow button? Make sure you smack that. We're not on Twitch. Make sure you subscribe, like, turn on the bell, all that good stuff. I really do appreciate it. Again, this is a new channel. We're building it up. We're doing something new. I have a lot of cool things planned for you guys in the future. In the next video, I'll probably talk about some more of those things involving the channel and what we're going to be doing. We're not going to be doing just videos. We're going to be building up a community here of streamers that want to do more things with their streaming. So keep that in mind. I'll talk more about that later. And let me know what other videos you may want to see, what the next video should be. If you have any questions about streaming, if you're a current streamer or a new streamer, let me know in the comments what you might want to see if you made it this far in the video. But again, thank you guys so much for watching, and hopefully you found this video informative, and you appreciate it. But hopefully it's not too long either. But take care, guys. Love you guys. Take care and peace out. Bye.